Hey guys, so welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Kriti Tiwari, and today we are gonna talk about a lot negative painting in watercolor. So negative space is another concept, and then negative painting, right? So what is negative painting, and how do we do it? How do we go about it? So this is what we are gonna learn in today's class. You can check my previous classes. I have done multiple classes till now, and each time I'm bringing a new concept for you guys. I will be mentioning all about materials and art supplies that I'm using for this class in the description, so make sure that you do check out before proceeding ahead. And would be good if you are trying this along with me, so it becomes easier for you to understand what we are doing here. So I have taped my paper across using a washi tape, okay? And for this to start, so our negative painting would be basically, I'll be defining a lot of leaves in there and will gradually increase the color. So you can choose any specific color, and what we are going to do is we will be varying tonal values of those colors in order to do this negative painting. Negative painting in watercolors involve painting the space around the object, right? That allows subjects to emerge through the unpainted areas, and it creates depth and highlights for your main subject, and that is what our intention is to do. Okay, so I am going to use the shades of blue here for this painting, and we'll start with initial wash. So to do the initial wash, I'm going to just wet the whole paper, and this will involve a lot of patience, because before we start a new layer, we also want the under layer to be dried up, so that when we put a next layer of paint, it is not running here and there, it doesn't get wiped away, right? So we just want to be very careful, and we want to preserve all the layers that we are gonna do as part of this painting, each and every layer. Okay, there will be areas where we will be painting very tightly, so make sure that you have all the art supplies in the place. We'll also need some small round sizes brushes to do this painting. So do not worry much, just enjoy the process, follow along, and you should be good. If at any point of time you feel that it is getting overwhelming, you don't know, I will request you to watch the whole video and then come back to it again. It's the consistent practice that makes a huge difference, so don't worry. Okay, so I will start with the lightest wash of the blue color, and for this one I'm going to use my cerulean blue, and if you see here, the quantity that I'm using is like 2 watery. So we are going to do a very light wash of this color onto the whole paper. Now, because will be working in layers for this painting, and it's gonna take a lot of drying time, I will be using hair dryer to dry the piece very quickly, so that I can proceed to the next step. You can wish to stay back, let your paper dry naturally before you proceed to the next step. It's up to you. So now my paper is all dried up. Before proceeding to the next layer, I will just do a rough drawing, or you can avoid this. Basically this is not recommended, but because I want to help you guys understand what we are going to do, right? So I'll be just creating something on top of it, and then we will be painting areas around it. So we'll not be painting exactly those areas, but we'll be painting the subject around it. And you can choose any shape or size for this particular painting, right? So I decided that I'm gonna go with leaves for this one. So what I'm doing is I'm roughly sketching the leaves where I want to leave the space. So this is the area that I won't be painting at all, right? So what I'll do is the next tonal value that we're gonna pick up is what I'm gonna paint around it. And then once we do the second layer, we're going to follow the exact same method for the next layer as well. Okay, so this is what I'm gonna paint around. So now we'll take the next layer of the paint. So this is the watery version that I was using, so I'm gonna take a bit of a thicker version for this round of painting, and we'll carefully paint around it. So just remember that you do not touch the leaf area that you have just drawn. So what we are doing is we are painting on the negative spaces where the actual subject is not there. We're gonna leave the actual subject, and the actual subject will start emerging as we continue painting around the main subject. So we are using a negative space to do the actual work. Okay. So do remember to enjoy the process. And in areas where you see that there's a large part of the painting that needs to be filled in, just go ahead and choose bigger brush to fill that area so that we can work a bit faster. And if you're not comfortable using bigger brush, that's not a problem at all. So this type of painting will require lots of patience from your side, because there will be a lot of closed areas, tight area that will demand we will have to paint, and we'll have to paint very carefully around them so that we are not touching the main subject at all. I'm comfortable using a big brush. I've done it multiple times now, and the brush that I'm using is a camel mop brush. It has a very nice point, and that is why it's okay for me to pick up the big brush and then go ahead and do the painting. If you're not comfortable, do not attempt it. So you see that I'm drawing the outside part of the leaf so that I do not accidentally paint anyone and fill the right areas. Right? So the other thing that you can do is just quickly go ahead and draw all the outlines, so that you know what are the areas that needs to be filled up, as it can get very confusing at times. So here it is all about precision, so we want to be very precise in what we are doing. So as you can see, I'm just defining the borders, outside borders, and then I just go ahead and start filling in whatever I have left out, right? This makes it easy for me to cover up the whole area. When we do the second layer, it is also important to not lose the base layer and the layer that we have done on top. So when we do the next set of leaves, we also want to make sure that the other two leaves that are visible. Okay. So the process is pretty simple. I'm gonna speed up the video. For example, I just filled up this space. So I will just try and go ahead and lift the paint from there. So do not worry if you by accidentally do something like this. You go ahead and lift all the paints from there. Yeah, this is possible if you pay attention to it and you got the error in at the right time. I will also lift the area for the stem. Okay. So result may vary depending upon when did you lift it and what kind of a color you were using. So the color is very staining, it is not very easy to lift the color. Okay, so the first and the second layer of the painting is done. Now I'm gonna wash my brush and we'll just dry this paper fast so that we can do the second, third, fourth layer on this particular painting. So my paper is all dried up and we'll do another layer of the leaves. So I'm gonna paint more leaves here. Okay, so I've drawn the next level of sketch and then now we are taking more darker version of the color, and you can mix a different kind of a blue to make it even more darker. Okay. So the base color is the same that we started with, and now we're going to take a different kind of color and start filling up the space again. Again, the process is exactly same as we were doing. Okay, so very carefully keep doing it, and this time the leaf that we have drawn is for the layer of color that we just did before this. So make sure that we are not losing that at all. We also want to retain the ones that we have already done. So remember, negative painting is all about painting around the edges of your actual subject. Okay, so I will just go ahead and quickly fill it up, and I'm gonna speed up the video again. So now you see the layers that are peeping through. So this was the first layer, now this is the second layer that is visible to us, right? Just be very attentive because we don't want to lose the underneath layers as well. We want to retain them all. It takes more effort to paint the subject, so not the subject basically, so it is easier to paint the actual subject than to paint around it. It takes extra patience and concentration as well. Okay. Okay. Okay, ये तो speed up part है ना. Okay. So this is my another layer, I think the third one. Now what we're gonna do is I will be doing a final layer on top of this one, but before that I'll just dry this up. Okay, so this would be my last layer. I'll be using Payne's Grey or Lamp Black for this one, and we're gonna make some trees for this darker shade. So we want to retain the darker this one. So we have 1 layer, 2 layer, and then we're gonna do the third one with this shade. Okay, so like this. And don't worry about the pencil lines. I'll just go ahead and remove them later. Now for this one, we just want to be extra careful because this is the darker layer and it may not, maybe we don't see it, right? Okay, so now I'm gonna take Payne's Grey. Okay, this would be my darkest layer, and I'm mixing that with my indigo blue, and this is what I'm gonna be using. So now we have to be very careful when we are adding this layer because we don't want to disturb these layers that we have already done, but then cover rest of the paper with this color. Okay. So we follow the exact same process as we done for the other layers. So yeah, I'll continue doing that. So I will be speeding up this video in some time and then continue filling up the page like this, leaving this color layer as well. Okay. Okay, so if you see, I have done the black here, so this layer, right, the third layer is started showing up, and that is what we wanted to do. I am also making sure that I don't lose the under layer that is already in there, right? So just painting very cautiously. Okay, so here again you have to be very cautiously do it, and remember that we do not touch the other layers. Okay, that part is tricky. Okay, so if you see this, all the other layers are showing. So the first one that we did, and after that, and then it's the white one, right? So all the layers are showing, and this is what is the negative painting. Just to add a bit of color to this one, I'm just gonna top it off with some golden leaves, and that would be it. Okay, so let me dry this and we'll do the golden on top of this one. So I'll be using this gold color to top it up with a gold. Yeah, so it's all dried up, so I don't have to worry much. I'll just erase the pencil lines that are visible. So you can try any kind of pattern, any kind of leaf. So for bigger paintings, it shouldn't be a problem. Bigger subjects, it can be done easily. For the smaller ones, we just have to pay a bit of attention. Okay, so this area is quite dark, and I'm just gonna add a golden leaf here. Okay, and then it will like go away in that direction, and I'm gonna add one leaf here maybe, and that's gonna go in that direction. So the golden ones that I'm adding are optional. You don't have to do it if you don't like. I'm just adding them. Okay. The other thing that could have been done in this one was, so we did a wash first, right? So we could have not done a wash, and we could have left some white space as well. So that is also one thing that could have done. But yeah, so there's are multiple ways of how you want to achieve it. You can do the multi-layer using a different color combination, and yeah, that will give a different effect. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. This is all about negative painting in watercolors, and they are useful. They can be used in a lot of ways, not necessarily that this is the only type of method for negative painting, but I think it's a good exercise to understand the color values and how you are able to create depth in your painting. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this one. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in my next class.